Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I got a few things that I want to do. First, I wanted to deal with my beginner's home machining tip, and that is drilling big diameters. And the thing I'm really excited about is the new sticker I have. It brings back a lot of memories, a lot of important things that are happening in the United States right now. But let's get into the large drill bit drilling. And I think this is a good way to start the video with the beginner's drilling tip. A few people might get something out of this. I remember when I just was told about this, I really never thought about it. But large drills, all size drills actually, have this land in the middle. This is what I'm talking about, this center part right here. The web goes between here and here. And it really doesn't cut. That's why I guess we use a center drill, a spotting drill, or we split the center. I have a few large diameter drills where I split the center, but I mostly leave that alone. And I do what I'm going to show everyone. If you think about it, this land right here, if you took away the flutes, that is a solid piece of steel that goes all the way through. And when you're drilling, what you're actually doing, if you think about it, think about no flutes. You just have this here, and you're just pushing against the material. I have a piece of aluminum here, and you're just pushing against it. But all it's really doing is just mangling the material. As it mangles it, finally a flute catches on a little bit. People use center drills. They put a little spot in there, and that allows the cutting flutes to make contact and start to create a chip. But still, in front of that, it's still just being pushed. It takes a lot of horsepower. It takes a lot of muscle to push this drill bit through. What I like to do is get rid of that altogether. Instead of putting a split point on it, which gives it more like a center drill, a center cutting, and just allows you to just drill right through, just creating chips. What I do is the web of the drill. I measure that web. This one is 198 thousandths, just over 3/16, just under quarter inch. So what I would do if I was going to drill this is an 1.5 inch drill bit. I would take a 1/4 inch drill, which is a little bit easier to deal with I'm going to do this in my mini lathe, is push this through and then put this in. Let's go over to the lathe, and I'm just going to put this in there and just hit this piece of material and see what happens. Let's go over there. This is my part that I'm going to drill through. I don't think I'm going to drill all the way through it, only because, like I said, that's an 1.5 inch drill. This will drill right into my jaws. But I'll go pretty far through. But like I was saying, the center of this It's a solid piece of steel. It's got a little angle on it because we created a flute, but for the most part, we're just pushing this solid piece of steel through there. And let me show you here what's actually happening. Well, we're going to put it in back gear. In gear, forward. I'm just going to bring this drill up against the material and try to show you what's happening down in there. I don't know if you really didn't see, it was close up, how much pressure I had to put to just get anything happening. We measured the web and it was just under 1/4 inch, just bigger than 3/16. I have a 1/4 inch drill bit and the center has been relieved, so it's center cutting. And what I'm going to do, now that I know what size my web is, just go over to the part and simply drill this size hole, which takes a lot less pressure, especially on, that's important for these little machines. Now that was pretty simple. It just went right through. What that's going to do, it's going to eliminate having to push my web, this solid piece of steel, all the way through my part, which is going to cause a lot of pressure, which is going to be on most mini lathes. It's really going to slow things down. If you got to drill a big hole on a mini lathe, remember this tip: measure your web, drill through with a drill just a little bit bigger, and you won't have a problem. Let's see if I can drill into this. Like I said, I'm not going to go all the way through because this large drill, it's 1.5 inches, it will hit my jaws. Let's do this. That's enough of a mess. But I think you get my point. This drill chuck is wanting to spin, but there is no pressure against the part. It's not really slowing the motor down. But if you have to drill, what I'm saying is if you have to drill a large diameter drill or push a large diameter drill through a part in your mini lathe, get rid of the center. Get rid of all that web. Put a hole in there. Now that's just freewheeling. You're just cutting with the flute. And you see it went up to 1.5 inches. Hopefully you don't want to put a 1.5 inch drill bit in your mini lathe. Now, what I want to do after I turn this all off, I don't know if anyone noticed my t-shirt. This is from the United States Space Force. They are part of what I want to talk about, what I want to show you. Let's go over to the table and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's do that. All right. I hope somebody got something out of my little tip about getting rid of the web. When you're drilling large holes, it makes it so much easier. If you've ever been even in a large lathe, you're drilling a 2.5 or 3 inch hole, you're really trying to crank on that thing. If you simply measured the web, drilled through, or as deep as you had to, it goes right through. It's just your flutes cutting. This sticker was created by a company that built the Vulcan rocket called ULA, United Launch Alliance. And I got to work on a lot of their projects for the Vulcan rocket. It was a long time ago, 2018 I think was the first project. But before that, where I got this sticker and the little collar pin, the Vulcan collar pin. But we were invited to an engineering conference, and let's see, where was this place? I believe the conference was held at the Space Symposium. I think I said that right. Space Symposium. Symposium. I'm terrible. And it was an engineering conference. And I got to meet a lot of people there that were into outer space. In fact, let me stop here and tell you, while I was at this conference, I actually got to meet people from Mars. That's right. You may not believe me, but I did. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit. ULA, United Launch Alliance. It was put together by two different companies everyone probably heard of. And that was Lockheed Martin, which does a lot of aerospace stuff, and Boeing. I'm sure everybody heard of Boeing. But they were competing against each other, doing the same thing, so they decided, why compete? Let's get together. And they created the Launch Alliance, because if you wanted to launch something, you built a rocket, you had to go to NASA and wait for them to set something up for you. So they put together ULA, and their main headquarters was here in Colorado. And what they took care of here in Colorado was, let's see, what have I got written down here? They took care of engineering, designing, technical development, and getting prototypes started. to see how this stuff is going to work. That was here in Colorado, and that's how I got involved. Their main manufacturing is in Alabama. That's manufacturing and construction. That's where they build rockets. And then their main launch sites, their eastern launch site is at Cape Canaveral. It's the Space Force Station 41. Okay, enough of that. How did I get to know them? Like I said, I was building. They approached us, and I built a lot of their tooling, prototype tooling for their assembly that ended up in Alabama at their assembly plant for the Vulcan rocket. And like I said, we were invited to this engineering conference in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And that's where I met people from Mars. That's right. You heard it again. People from Mars. And they gave me one of their pins. And that Mars, Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, which Mars stands for. I know you thought I really met Martians, but that's as close as I got. Mars, that's a commercial rocket launch facility located on Wallops Island in Virginia at the NASA Wallops Flight Facility. Anyway, this is my newest addition sticker that's going up on the board. But how did I get into this? Why did I decide to drag this out now? I still know a lot of people there. I was get a text from one of the guys there. He told me that the Vulcan rocket finally took its maiden flight, January 2024. It took its maiden flight and did its first active service in late 2025 and is doing service now in 2026. Right now, the Vulcan rocket is planned to do a flight, and that flight, as of now, is planned to take off from. The Vulcan rocket is currently targeted to launch on Tuesday, September 29th, 2026, which is my 75th birthday. And the payload is 45 commercial broadband satellites for Amazon for low orbit, Earth orbit constellation. But it'll be taking off from the primary launch site at Cape Canaveral, Space Force Station 41, SLC 41, on my birthday. I think that's why they did it. They went, it's Glenn's birthday, and I think not only Amazon would like it with the amount of money he spends at Amazon, but that he worked on this project. So let's go put this Vulcan rocket sticker on my sticker board. Let's do that. The Vulcan rocket. The Vulcan rocket. I'm going to take my Vulcan collar pin and use that to pin it to the board. And I'm going to use my pin I got from the people at Mars to hold it down. That's how I had it set up on my other bulletin board in the house. But that Vulcan rocket sticker I've had since 2018 when we went to the conference, and there was a lot of other space people there. It was pretty exciting knowing that I'm working with these people, building a lot of stuff that I will have helped get into outer space. But with them, let's see, I started in 2018. And they just got their maiden voyage in 2024 and started their first service in the late 2025. I've been retired now for 6 years, and these people still remember me. So I had to put it up here. So there we are, ULA. I doubt that any of yous are watching, but there it is on my sticker board. Okay, the sticker is up there. I hope somebody at ULA sees that and realizes there's someone here that still cares. Anyway, on September 29th, if you want to see that flight, you can go to the United Launch Alliance website, unitedlaunchalliance.com, or you can go to their YouTube channel, ULA on YouTube. Right before I blow out all my 75 candles, I will be at the ULA website. So, I am going to have to say, until next time, enjoy.